Hi, I'm Jenny Taylor Martin, a director here at Edgar Cayce's A.R.E. Today I'm speaking with author and Cayce expert John Van Auken about his new book, Edgar Cayce and the Kabbalah. Hi, John. It's nice to have you with us today.
Hi, Jenny. It's good to be here.
Tell us, what first attracted you to the Kabbalah?
Well, that's a good question. Contrary to current popular belief, I actually feel that everything ancient is not primitive, that the theory of evolution follows the theory of involution. And so some ancient things are actually closer to the origins and might have a pure insight into the beginning. And it turned out when I looked into Kabbalah, that was the case. The more ancient documents really had wonderful insights into the nature of God and the beginning of the creation and how it unfolded. So that's what really got me into it initially.
Can you tell us what the Kabbalah covers in the way of helpful information for spiritual seekers today?
Yes, well, that's another issue with the Kabbalah. It covers almost everything. It's amazing how broad and detailed it is on many topics of the human experience, and especially spiritual or soul growth. For example, it actually has deep insights into the actual presence of God in this reality. They call it the 10 emanations of God, and how God expressed itself into this creation and how we can pick up on that presence and feel it. Talks about the 4 planes of existence, and if one becomes aware of those, you can actually sense the 4 planes while on the 3rd dimension. The 7 heavens, the 22 channels of the creative energy, how it flows, and goes on and on. Numerology, talisman, incantations, magic. It's amazing the breadth of this material.
Many people feel that the Cayce readings have a Christian message. How does that tie in with the Kabbalah message?
Amazingly well. I know most of us would think of Kabbalah as the Jewish mysticism, and of course many people today think of Edgar Cayce as a Christian mystic, and certainly he is, but if you study his material more carefully, he has a very universal Christ that includes all religions, all spiritual movements. It's a big oneness. Well, when you go and look at the Jewish Kabbalist, their vision is also very broad, open to all faiths, more dealing with the true nature of God for all souls, not just for an individual faith or a certain discipline of spiritual practice. They're open and in fact included many other practices from other disciplines in their own teaching. So I found them both working very well together. And I was surprised when I started writing the book how a true, pure Kabbalistic concept was mentioned in the Cayce readings too. And I would just be surprised. And that's when the book started to really expand. I couldn't believe that Cayce had that much to say that fit so well with Kabbalism, and it sure enough did.
I understand you created the illustrations for your book. Why not use the classic Kabbalah images?
Well, you're right. As I got into it more, I had the classical Kabbalistic images. But as I proceeded to develop the content, I noticed that there were variations among different schools in different nations or regions of Europe and the Mediterranean. And I wanted to get a very clear, consistent image that had all of the school's input on it. So I redid some of it to fit the purest classical or the most consistent classical image of the concept we were discussing. So I had to redo the 4 planes of existence, the 10 emanations, and the tree of life. I had to get a consistent one, though I do show an alternative that was used by a certain group for a fair bit of time. And then the 5 parts of our being, the 22 channels, I had to redo that so that everybody could actually see them because they're hard to see in the Tree of Life. So yes, I found it necessary to create original and consistent illustrations for the whole book.
What do you think is the most valuable message this book offers its readers?
Kabbalism covers so much that almost any reader is going to find something in this book that touches them, that is meaningful to them. But for me personally, I was really fascinated by the descriptions of how one could make passage through dimensions of consciousness within themselves to actually connect with the emanations of the Creator, to actually get a sense of our Creator, a real conscious sense. And they actually practiced this and had all sorts of tweaks of techniques to create a greater awareness. So that's what really I came away with when I finished the book. But I think readers are going to find many things in there that appeal to them.
John, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jenny.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Edgar Cayce and the Kabbalah is published by A.R.E. Press and available at arecatalog.com.